This is a KY3 storm mode update.
Good evening, everyone. I'm meteorologist Abby Dyer here in the First Alert Weather Center. I had to break into coverage today to tell you about a brand new tornado warning that has just been issued by the National Weather Service here in Springfield. It's for this storm on the radar that's been rotating a little bit in Douglas County. There's a rotation just north of the Ava area. It's this storm cell that I'm watching in the northwestern corner of Douglas County, right near the Highway 14 area. And then, of course, it extends over into the Bryant region with the very heavy rainfall, potential for hail with this storm, gusty winds, and even a tornado. The National Weather Service initially had a severe thunderstorm warning in this portion of the cell. It now goes until, I think, about 8:45. Let me confirm that. Yes, it's until 8:45 with the tornado warning. But there's some rotation on the radar right around the Ava region or just north of there, with the storm moving east at about 40 miles an hour. So it's a fast mover on the radar this evening, but we have seen some storm damage come out of the severe weather that's been out there. So I wanted to break into coverage and tell you about this one. We're going to take a look at the winds, the velocity within this storm, and you can see what I'm talking about. The area of rotation in this storm right along Highway 14. See right here where the reds and the greens are right next to each other? Well, that's what we call the radar couplet. It's right where the storm is likely spinning. We've been seeing some broad rotation in this specific storm cell. Initially, it was up kind of high up in the right along Highway 14. It's already kind of moved over here. So it's moving east at 40 miles an hour. This is going to be moving very quickly north side of town in the Ava area, and then this is going to be moving right across the northern portion of central Douglas County. It's likely going to miss Mansfield just to the south, but it does kind of have this east-northeasterly component to it. So if you are watching from Mansfield, especially the south side of town, keep your eye on this one as it could cross up into portions of Wright County. Eventually, the trajectory of this is going to take it over into portions of southern Wright County, and it will stay in northern Douglas County as well. So here's a look at the radar picture. You can see that it's got a lot of really heavy rainfall associated with it. Likely you're just buried in the heavy rain and you can't see much, especially now that the sun has gone down. Very hard to see these nighttime events. So if you're in the path of this storm, I need everybody to be in their storm shelters, in their safe places. Lowest level of your home, of course. Protect your head if you're going to those locations. And just make sure you're watching streaming coverage. We are streaming not only here on TV, but also over on the First Alert Weather app. You also can get that app and find the new information on this storm. It's going to send you an alert and zoom into this specific area. I want to put a storm track on this because I think this storm is moving very quickly. In fact, the last time we tracked it, I think rotation was about here. So let's put a storm track on this, kind of get some ETA times for you as it tracks up to the east-northeast. So we are talking about this moving toward the Macomb area by about 8:20, Norwood 8:34. If you folks are in the path of this storm, I encourage you, get the family together, get the safety plan, go ahead and put it into action, because as we are looking at these storms, they've been producing some damage in the area, and I really want everybody to be careful on this one. I also wanted to zoom out on the radar picture here because this is not the only severe storm that we are dealing with. We've also got a handful of severe thunderstorm warnings that are out there. Let me get rid of some of the time labels on there so we can actually see. And you can see this one here. It also had some low-level rotation with it. So the National Weather Service also has a close eye on this storm cell back in portions of Texas County. It also is a very powerful storm capable of producing not only some very large hail, but also winds in excess of 60 miles an hour. That is going to be moving right over the Ruby-Doo area, moving to the northeast as well. So it's going to be crossing the highway, probably passing north of Houston. But if you're in Licking, this is one that you want to keep your eye on. It's likely coming right for you as it moves closer to the Highway 63 corridor. This one has a severe thunderstorm warning on it that has what we call tornado possible tag associated with it. Let me see what time this one expires. This one for portions of Texas County, and this one goes until 8:30. As I told you, that one with the tornado warning on it in portions of Douglas County, that one's going to go until 8:45. And these storms are developing right along the cold front. So we've actually had two lines of storms develop this afternoon. There's a tornado watch out still. This initial line, it's now almost entirely out of the Ozarks, and it has some spin with those storms that are now east of our region. What we're seeing develop in the Ozarks right now is all along a cold front. Behind the front, there's no more severe weather. In fact, the tornado watch has been dropped. If you are back behind the front, you've already seen your line of storms come through, you're done for the evening. Now our real concern is going to be this area, which still has the cold front that's yet to pass through that really unstable atmosphere. It was really warm out there today. We had the strong south winds, and now we are seeing some of that severe weather materialize as expected, although it's been kind of slow to come together for many areas, and some places got missed entirely. We do still have very heavy thunderstorm activity on the radar, though. You can kind of see that this goes up into southern portions of Wright County near the Norwood region. Let's take a look at the winds again and see where the center of that rotation is currently. Right there. See where you see that little couplet? It is going to be north central Douglas County. It's going to cross Highway 5 here very soon. If you live between Ava and Mansfield, give the family a call. Let them know that you don't want to travel on Highway 5 right now, because this storm is going to track right over the highway. Eventually, it'll move up into northern Douglas County and then cross the county line. You can see we have some new lightning strikes associated with this one too. Probably a pretty loud storm if you're in the area. And I'm thinking there could be some hail with this one. It looks like we actually do have maybe some reflectivity that's high enough to get some of that hail. I'm going to put the debris tracker on here, see if we see any sort of signature. And I don't see anything that's too defined with this. The National Weather Service has said that this is radar indicated. So not seeing a big signature with that right now, which is good news for us. I don't think we've had eyes on that storm either, but I know there are some spotters in the area. Let me step off here and see if we've had any new information from the National Weather Service or from any spotters in that region. And I don't see any at present. Ron Hurst is in the office with me here too. We've been tracking the severe weather all evening. Ron, is there anything that you've seen come across?
No, the only thing they've mentioned is that circulation is strong. It's about 3 to 4 miles northeast of Ava. Yeah, the circulation remains strong 3 to 4 miles northeast of Ava. So the tornado warning remains in effect. So again, it's capable of producing a tornado. We don't have anything on the ground. Of course, you just checked for the debris signature, and we don't have any of that. And that's pretty much what we've seen throughout the area this evening are some of these stronger thunderstorms. They've got a good mid-level circulation, and then the low-level circulation tightens up. And so then they issue the tornado warning on it. And again, remember, tornadoes can develop very, very rapidly from these things. So we take these warnings seriously. This is moving across northern sections of Douglas County. It's going to impact areas on Highway 5 and Highway 76. So if you live in those areas or several miles either side of that Highway 76 corridor, you'll want to be moving to your tornado shelter at this time. Also, this is going to impact areas in southern Wright County, so areas along and south of Highway 60 from Mansfield to Norwood also want to be moving to your shelter. That's likely to be where we're seeing some fairly large hail right there on the Douglas County, Wright County line. And then the tornado is just south of that area, pretty much right in the area along Highway 5, just south of Bryant right now. And then again, moving on to the northeast at around 45 miles an hour this afternoon. So again, it's going to continue to track off in that direction. So areas just south of Norwood, just south of Mountain Grove, areas just north of Highway 76 are all going to be in the path of the storm, and folks who are in northern Douglas County need to be taking a shelter from the storm. So again, we have some severe weather out there this evening, and this is the strongest of the storms in the area right now. So this thing has had a history of kind of building, and then it kind of weakens a little bit, and then it, so anyway, so again, the circulation is going to be right in here. And again, that's going to pass just to the south of Bryant and just north of Highway 76. So again, that's what we're looking at this afternoon. Again, here's the couplet. You can kind of see these brighter greens next to the brighter reds. So this is back towards the radar. This is away from the radar. So again, it's the circulation is going to be right in there just like this. So again, just kind of just north of Highway 76 and kind of the south of where 5 goes back off to the south and to the west there. So again, the good news is that we haven't had any damage reported from any of these tornado warnings tonight. Again, the atmosphere is causing these storms to spin, and they are seeing some good, like I said, mid-level rotations. So by that, we're talking about something that's going to be anywhere between 9,000 and about 15,000 feet. And then what we're kind of watching to see if it actually spins down towards the ground. So sometimes these things can start higher up in the thunderstorm and then work their way down to the surface. But this is all part of a line of thunderstorms that's moving through the ozone Ozarks. The cold front is situated just behind this line of thunderstorms right in there. And once you get past there, your winds turn out of the west. Temperatures don't drop immediately. In fact, we're still in the upper 60s here in Springfield. There's also this area of storminess that continues to backbuild in eastern Shannon County, so there's likely to be quite a bit of rain that's going to be just to the north of the Summersville area here in eastern Shannon County. So I don't know if there's going to be any localized flooding. I haven't actually looked at that possibility, but there may be some there. Once this cold front, once this line of thunderstorms moves through your location and the cold front passes and your winds change to the west, the good news is the severe weather threat is over for the evening. And in fact, all of these counties out in here, you are clear of severe weather. They've allowed the tornado watch to expire for those locations. So the rest of the night, you guys are good to go. And you don't have to worry about that, and you can kind of sleep easy. But again, we want to watch this line of thunderstorms here along the cold front. You'll notice that we also have some activity here in northern Madison County. That's going to move over around Osage in southern Carroll County here pretty shortly, and that's going to move into southwestern Boone County probably within the next hour or so. So we'll keep an eye on that storm. So again, the strongest of the thunderstorms is down here in northwestern Douglas County and far southern Wright County, and that's the one of the greatest concern right now. There are a few others. Abby was pointing out this one that's going to be around Plato down to Success in northwestern Texas County. They also have a severe thunderstorm warning on that. There's a tornado possible tag with that too, because again, some of these storms are spinning. And then we've seen some of this activity here in southern Taney County. That storm is also fairly stout tonight as well. So this one is going to be south of Roby, going to impact Ruby-Doo. Plato's in there, Success is in there. This thing is going to skirt just on the north side of Houston and then continue kind of over along Highway 63 between Houston and Licking. So folks over there need to be on the alert that severe weather is headed in your direction as well. The bad storms we had over here in the east, the tornado warnings for those storms are actually outside of our viewing area, so we don't have to worry about that. And again, we have a pretty strong thunderstorm. This one's rolling right along Lake Taneycomo right now, and this thing has been hugging the Missouri-Arkansas line as it travels on to the east. So that's going to be moving over towards Pro Tem shortly. If you know somebody who lives in Pro Tem, you may want to give them a heads up. Sometimes the reception down there isn't all the best, but again, a strong thunderstorm there as well. Again, we've been fairly lucky. We haven't had a whole lot of damage. I think we've had a tree or two down. There's been a power line or two down with some higher winds tonight. But so far, so good on any storm damage this evening. So, again, you can see the thunderstorm right there. It's very narrow, severe thunderstorm warning, really only on the Missouri side of the line. Northern Arkansas and the National Weather Service in Little Rock has decided not to issue for their portion of northern Boone County. But this is going to be along and just to the north of Highway 14, moving over towards Diamond City. And we actually have a camera there. I guess we could see if we could spin that around, see if we can catch some of the lightning with that storm, but we'll be looking for that here fairly shortly. So anyway, I want to go back up and check out the storm that's prompted the tornado warning this evening. And again, we want to keep an eye on this storm. Again, it's out basically in the northern part of Douglas County there. It's out over the country. But folks out here who live on the farms north of Highway 76 and south of Highway 60 on the Douglas County, Wright County, that storm is headed in your direction tonight, so you'll want to be able to move pretty quickly to your tornado shelter should the weather get really bad. One positive thing here, we actually have this storm that's out ahead of it, so there may be some disruption to the organized airflow in here. So hopefully that'll knock down any tornado potential and keep anybody from having damage or loss of livestock tonight or a loss of property. So keep your fingers crossed for the folks over there that we don't have any damage there. Abby, are you picking up anything over there? Has anything come in since we traded places?
I haven't seen much come through on the chat room in regards to that tornadic storm that we have over there, other than spotters in the area near Dogwood reporting really heavy rain, wind gusts of 35, and I suspect there are wind gusts in that are stronger.
Yeah, we've seen some winds to 48 and 50 miles per hour this evening. I think they put out a storm warning or two that talked about the winds being nearly 60 miles per hour. You can still kind of see a little couplet over here that's getting pretty close to the county line. It's right in the middle of that polygon. So again, this is going to be just south of the Wright County, Douglas County line, and it's going to be a little to the southeast of the Mansfield area. So this thing is going to be tracking up just to the south of the Norwood area here very shortly. And you can kind of see that right in there. So we got it pretty up close and personal. So you can see that's going to be just to the east of State Highway U. In fact, it probably just crossed Highway U right in there. So that is going to be that part of Douglas County right in there is where that spin is that you can see right there. And again, this thing, if you've kind of been tracking, it was here, now it's here, so it's going to move up in here. So it's going to cross the county line and be just to the south of Norwood by a couple of miles. So if you live south of Norwood, be prepared. A potential tornadic thunderstorm is moving in your direction this evening. So again, these things are moving very rapidly. As Abby was talking about earlier, they're racing off so fast to the north and to the east that a couple of scans go by and it appears that these things really jump along. And so that's just because of the rapid movement we're having there tonight. Sure, the sirens were going off in Ava because it was very close to Ava, and it was actually mentioned on there, but this is actually outside of Ava. It is to the northeast of the city. So if you live in Ava, while you have some heavy rain right now and you had the potential for some strong winds and hail, it looks like the greatest threat for tornadoes is actually to the northeast of town. So I want to bring the anxiety level down there just a little bit and kind of let you know that maybe we're going to get some improvement. But if you're in Ava, be prepared. You have some very heavy weather over you right now, including some torrential rain. This will take about 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes to move through town. And then once the thunderstorm moves east of town, then you're good to go. The threat is over for Ava. So just a little bit longer to be prepared there. Also areas along Highway 5 going all the way down to Wasola. You guys need to be prepared as that thunderstorm is moving in your direction too. And notice how it's pretty much a solid line. So there may be strong winds anywhere within that line this evening tonight. Again, the worst of the weather is going to be just here to the southeast of Mansfield. This is going to be about 5 or 6 miles, maybe 7 miles or so, and it's going to be right here crossing the county line. And again, that's going to move just to the south of Norwood. So that is the area of concern that we're watching. So let's see what we have here. See if I can activate that. You know, we actually have a little something in there, Abby. I wonder if we can zoom in a little bit more on that.
Oh, yeah, here.
Going to be kind of just to the south. Yeah, we've got a little something in here. There may be some stronger winds. It's not actually with the circulation. It's actually outside of that a little bit. But there may be some tree damage. Could be some power line damage. Some higher wind damage in here. The circulation was actually up in here. And we don't see any real big core. But, you know, there's some indication there may be some really high winds, maybe some leaves and stuff and grass getting blown up into the thunderstorm. So be prepared for some really strong winds here along north of Highway 76 all the way to just south of the Norwood area. So you don't have to have a tornado to have damage, but maybe seeing some indication that there may be some pretty strong winds and maybe some other kind of residual damage because of that tonight. Let's go back to the radar picture. You can kind of see we have kind of an inflow notch in here. So the winds are coming in here. Then this is the rear flank downdraft. So you're getting some strong winds right where we saw that debris signature. So these winds here will be going from west to east. And what they're going to do is cut right in here like this. And so any tornado is going to be right up in here because with the tornado spinning, it draws in the drier air. And then it goes up through the cloud and down. Once it hits the ground, that's what's pushing this out right here. We call that the rear flank downdraft. So we're getting some pretty strong winds. We were seeing some of that debris. So again, I bet you there's going to be some power outage in that part of Douglas County here pretty shortly. There's going to probably be some tree damage, so be prepared for that. And I would, if you live here just along the county line, a couple of miles south of the county line, I would be prepared to move to your tornado shelter pretty quick. That is a very dangerous looking thunderstorm there. There's probably some pretty good hail going on here in southern parts of Wright County as well too. Just to the north of this little feature right in here. So, again, if you live in northern Douglas County, you're under the gun. Okay. They dropped it? Okay. All right, so they've dropped the tornado warning. I don't know. That's a pretty dangerous looking storm, but we'll continue to keep an eye on it for you. If they upgrade it back to a tornado warning, we'll be back on the air to let you know. So thanks for tuning in tonight. We're going to go ahead and return you to local programming.